it going, everybody? Thank you for showing interest in my foam cannon. This video will be more so directed at people who rented my foam cannon from me or borrowed or whatever the case may be. If you are a YouTuber and just stumbled across my video and watching this, some parts might be a little bit fuzzy, but like I said, this video is more so directed at someone who borrowed or rented my foam cannon, just kind of have a question how everything works. Maybe this is not a how it is built, maybe that'll be a whole separate video, but anyways, here we go. So when you rent the foam cannon from me, you will receive this 55-gallon drum, hose attached to the side with instructions laminated on the side, and we'll go through that kind of as the video goes along, a sump pump, and the foam machine. So long story short, for this particular video, I'm just simply using a 5-gallon bucket and a short hose from here to my connection, just to kind of make everything easier. But other than that, however you wish to make your mix, you can make it's marked in increments on the side, anywhere from 5 gallons all the way up to 55 gallons, and all the way up to the top is roughly about 57 gallons, give or take. So generally speaking, Dawn Platinum is kind of the best to use. You can use other soaps, as you can try as you wish. There's a few brands out there, big box store brands that I've tried, and it's just real greasy. It's not nice. But so far, Dawn Platinum works the best. If you wish to go away from the soap, you can go on Amazon or any other place, and they actually sell foam for foam machines. You can buy them. Sometimes the prices give or take depending on what you buy. But if you're in an absolute pinch, you can go anywhere nowadays and get Dawn Platinum or vice versa. So anyways, so here we go. So when you are making your soap, you mix it at a 2% ratio. So for a 50-gallon drum, you're going to make it at 1 gallon of soap. For this example, I'm using a 5-gallon bucket, which is 1 cup of soap. So other than that, so you fill it all the way up, dump your soap in last, because you don't want to be filling this up and make bubbles. You're not at this point, you are not mixing it to make bubbles. You are just simply mixing it to mix it. Everything will happen later on down the road. So fill it up to your desired gallon, mix it at a 2% ratio, and then generally put this in a stationary where out of the way. You do have a 50-foot hose that's attached to the side you can use, so you kind of have some playroom. So, but kind of put this in the area you're going to be close to, and you know, you do have a little bit of leeway with the hose, because I'm sure once you fill this up, you're not going to want to move it around. It's kind of heavy. But other than that, mix everything up, push it off to the side. If you let it sit and you make it in the morning, and come evening time, lunchtime, whatever the case may be, you go to use it. Generally speaking, when it sits a little bit longer, it has time to mix. Just the chemicals inside tend to make a little bit thicker of a foam. Not much, very minuscule. If you're in a last-minute crunch and you just want to get all this stuff all together because your party's in an hour, perfect. You're probably not going to notice a difference. That's kind of being more on the picky side. So other than that, that is that. Whenever you are ready, we'll go take your sump pump, attach your hoses to the side. You're going to go ahead and, in this case, I will be putting in the 5-gallon bucket. This is just my short hose, for example. Go ahead and dump it all the way on the very, very bottom whenever you're ready. And then at that point, you're going to go ahead and take your hose. If you are attaching a couple different hoses at the time, I do provide a couple different options on how to connect this to the other end. So when you come up to it, you will have this swivel adapter. So if you're using a normal male to female hose, simply attach it, you're good to go. If you have a female to female hose, you can just simply pull this off, put it to the side, connect to the very top, you're still good to go. And then last but not least, to make everybody's life easier, you go ahead here, PVC union, hand tight only. Go ahead and take it off. You can connect it to your hose, you can put it to the side, and then when you're ready, just simply come up and hand tighten it back up. There is a little black O-ring washer right where my finger is pointing. So if you lose it and go to put this back together, it will absolutely leak like a sieve, and you're probably not going to be happy. So do pay attention to where the O-ring goes. So I have my hose connected. I'm going to go ahead and connect it. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on, hand tight only. And then last but not least, you'll see a little blue valve on there. Generally speaking, anywhere from 3/4 to full. I always leave it on full. The more you put it down, the less bubbles you're going to get, but then the more time you're going to get out of the drum. leave it all the way up. That's just for the absolute best results. So for this case, I'm going to go ahead and take my hose, connect it back up. I'm going to go ahead and drop my sump pump in my mix. And I already have everything plugged up, and then right before I plug this in, last but not least, the fan I have behind it I want to discuss. I have that behind it for when I do parties, or I have this up on the ladder, or put it up on the corner of my house, tie it up, strap it onto the gutter. I usually have a fan behind it. It helps. It's not going to make or break your situation. If you have some sort of fan, get it behind it. It absolutely helps kind of disperse that foam away from the unit. But like I said, if you have one, cool, great. If you don't, no big deal. And then also, the higher you can put this, the better. Like I just said, usually when I have a party, I'll have it up on either a ladder and ratchet strap it down, or I'll put it to the very edge of my gutter and put my fan down here and just make a huge mess. Just be aware, if the higher you put it, make sure it is strapped down, because if you just set it, it will vibrate off and fall. If it breaks, you can contact me and we can go over everything together. But other than that, and also the higher you put it, if it's a windy day or slightly windy, do keep that in mind, because the wind will take it and move it around. If it's a non-calm day, you're perfectly fine. It will drop down and let your fan, if you have one, do the rest of the work. I had a couple of people tie it to the very top of their deck, and it was a pretty higher deck, and then just put some tarps and let everything go down, and it went into a slip and slide. Pretty cool. I also do a couple places where they do slip and slides every year, and this is just, they call it the Wonka Wash. It's pretty cool. So anyways, I have everything plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, show you real quick. I'll attach a bunch of photos and all that kind of good stuff at the end of this video, so that way you can kind of look, because I'm not going to let this drum, this 5-gallon bucket, just completely run. I'll let it to show example, and then I'm going to show you one thing. If you go to, let's just say you fill this drum all the way up, or however however you decided to make it in gallon wise, if you do decide to do half a drum and then you want to stop, maybe some kids want to take a break or whatnot, other than simply unplugging it, make sure you pick your pump up from your drum or bucket, however you wish, and break the seal for the vacuum. Because if you simply just unplug it and you walk away and come back, it will create, because you were using it, a vacuum through the hose and continue to empty out your soap. So that way if you come back, you're going to find the soap gone and you may not be happy. So do pick it up, break the seal, put the pump off to the side, and then whenever you come back, just repeat the process. Go ahead and take your pump, dump it back into your drum, plug her back in, and you'll be good to go at that point. But okay, here you go. So I have everything completely plugged in, including my fan behind you, so it'll go ahead and show you real quick. And to get an idea, thank you very much for watching my video. Here we go. Thank you very much, everybody. You have a good one.
Jeff, where were you 3 years ago?
Right, when I was a teen. Actually, that was like 6
Help
years
them to
ago.
get cleaner
7
before
years
they
ago.
go home.
Right.
Get some of the stink off. Just get somebody, yeah, this is stink off. Fruit Loops out of their hair. He's coming down.